Hello, guys. Welcome to another section of interview questions and answers. And today's section is on how to prepare for the PwC interview. So, whether you're applying for an entry level internship or experience role, PwC has a structured interview process that assesses both your technical skills, problem solving abilities, and cultural fits. So at the end of this presentation, you will understand what to expect in a PwC interview, how to answer different types of questions, and how to present yourself as the ideal candidates. So let's start with the brief introduction to PwC. As one of the big floor accounting firms, PwC specializes in services ranging from audit and task to consulting and financial advisory. What sets PwC apart is its commitment to innovation, integrity, and professional excellence. So PwC values employees who demonstrate leadership, problem-solving abilities, and a collaborative mindset. Knowing this will help you align your answers to showcase these qualities. The PwC interview process is designed to assess not only your technical knowledge, but also to test your ability to work in teams, handle challenges, and fit into PwC's culture. So PwC interview questions fall into four key categories, ranging from the behavioral and competency-based question, technical questions related to the job, situational judgment questions, and motivational questions about why you want to work or join the workforce at PwC. Understanding these categories will help you to prepare effectively and answer your questions rightly. So, what are the five key dimensions of the PwC professional leadership framework? The first one we're looking at is the whole leadership. So, are you proactive and are you able to drive results? That's what they're looking out for. So this framework is specialized in these sections. The next one is the business acumen. And do you understand how industry works and how financial decisions impact businesses? On the global acumen, do you appreciate different perspective and work well in diverse teams? Can you apply your knowledge effectively? And can you collaborate and communicate effectively? By keeping these dimensions in mind, you can structure your responses to align with what PwC is looking for. So here are the key bullet points of what this presentation is going to cover. The first one is we'll be looking at why the interviewer is asking you this question, each question that will be asked. What are they expecting in your response? How should you structure your response? Then sample answers that will help you to craft out your own response. Now, the number one question we'll be looking at first in this presentation is under the category of motivational and general fit questions. And the questions on our screen now is, why do you want to work with PwC? So this question assesses your knowledge of PwC, if it aligns to your values, and if your values also aligns to theirs. So what they expect from this question is you should understand what their values and culture are, what makes PwC different from competitors, and how does PwC values and culture aligns with your career goals. And here is a sample response you could give to that question. PwC reputation for excellence and innovation makes it my top choice. I admire PwC's commitment to diversity, inclusion, and digital transformation. Working in such an environment will help me develop my skills and contribute meaningfully to the firm's mission. So the next question is, what do you know about PwC's services or offerings? And this question is trying to test your research and PwC core, your research on PwC core services. So what are PwC core services? One is audit and assurance, task, consulting, and deals. On the industry focus, financial services, healthcare, and technology. So you could craft your response knowing fully well what their core services are and what their core offerings are. And your sample response could go this way. PwC provides professional services in audits, tax, and consulting. I'm particularly drawn to PwC's consulting arm, which helps businesses drive digital transformation and strategic growth. PwC's global reputation and innovative approach make it a great place to learn and grow. So when you hear the question like, tell us about yourself, why this question is asked is this is an open-ended question to assess your background, communication skills, and how well you fit to the role. So what are they expecting from you as a response? They're expecting a structured response covering your education, experience, and career interests. So make sure you keep it professional and relevant to PwC. And your sample response will go like this. I'm a recent graduate with a degree in accounting and finance. During my studies, I interned at probably X and YZ company where I worked on financial reporting and auditing procedures. I also have experience with data analysis using Excel and Power BI. I'm passionate about consulting and problem solving, which is why I'm excited about the opportunity at PwC. I look forward to contributing my analytical skills and learning from industry experts. When you see a question like this, the interviewers on why or what are your major achievements to date. The interviewers want to assess your ability to set goals and achieve them. So they're expecting you to discuss a work, academic, or personal achievement relevant to the role, and also to highlight your skills such as problem solving, leadership, or perseverance. And having this in mind, your response could go as one of my major achievements was leading a team project in my final year university where we analyzed a company's financial data and presented cost saving strategies. Our recommendations led to a stimulated 15% reduction in expenses in our case study. This experience strengthened my analytical and teamwork skills, which I believe will be valuable at PwC. So you could see that this quest or this response actually highlighted where you've gained this experience, pinpointing um your achievable experience related to the role. Then it also highlighted your problem solving, leadership, and perseverance skills. Question 5 says, what are your strengths and weaknesses? PwC wants to see if you're self-aware and proactive in improving yourself. So what they're expecting you to, or how they expect you to give answer to this question is, choose your strengths relevant to the role. And when discussing a weakness, show how you're working to improve it. I will repeat that again. When giving response to this question, choose your strengths relevant to the role, or if you're going to be discussing about your weakness, show how you're working to improve it. So on no ground should you state a weakness where you've not put in or you're not trying to put in effort to improve on them. Maybe let me say, for instance, you're disorganized and probably that is a weakness you actually have. So I'm just saying, one of my weakness is I'm disorganized. I really don't know how to go about it. Rather, you could pick a weakness of saying probably the weakness I have is public speaking. I have been working on it by participating in presentations and joining speaking workshops. So it shows that even though you have this weakness, you're making efforts to improving and turning them into your strengths. Next up, we'll be discussing on behavioral and competency-based questions. And the first one on our list now is tell us about a time when you worked in a team. So this question is asked to show your values as regards teamwork. So they want to know how well you can collaborate with others. Remember the popular saying that no man is an island on his own. So when you're giving answer to this question, make sure you use the STAR method. And for this, by this, I mean the situation, the task, the action, the results. So show good communication and teamwork skills. If probably you're wondering what the STAR method mean, what the STAR method means, we've made a video about that in our channel. So you can go through our videos and know how to structure your response to fit into the STAR method. Now, a sample answer you could give to this question could be, during my internship, I worked in a team to analyze a company's financial data. My role was to organize the data in Excel and create visual reports. We collaborated to identify trends and presented our findings to senior management. This experience taught me the importance of communication and leveraging each team's member's strengths. So from this response, you could see that I stated the situation by stating during my internship, I stated the task, and the task was to analyze my company's financial data. I stated the action, and the action was to, organize this data in Excel and create visual reports. And I had to work with a team to identify trends and present our findings to the senior manager. And the results highlighted in this my response is this this experience taught me the importance of communication and leveraging each team's member's strengths. So if asked, how do you handle conflict in a team? The interviewer is looking out for how you deal with workspace challenges. Like, wherever you find yourself, both in school, probably you've had a working experience, or during your internship, there must definitely be challenges you must have faced at one point or the other. So, in giving response to this question, make sure your response is structured, train conflict resolution skills, then emphasize on your listening, understanding, and problem solving skills as well, because these are skills that you can't leave out when it comes to conflict resolution. So a sample answer you can give to this question is, in a group project, a team member and I had different approaches to solving a problem. Instead of arguing, I suggested that we list the pros and cons of each approach. After discussing, we combine the best aspects of both ideas, leading to a successful outcome. This taught me the value of compromise and communication. So from this response, you could see that I highlighted both my listening skills, understanding, and problem-solving skill, as well as communication. The next question says, how do you manage stress and deadlines? And the interviewer is looking out for if you can handle pressure, you have the ability to work under pressure, because as a consulting firm, their workflow involves tight deadlines. So are you able to meet up with deadlines? So they're expecting you to answer this question with a methodical approach to handling stress, and you giving examples of prioritization and time management. So a sample response could be, when faced with tight schedules, I prioritize tasks using to-do lists and break them into manageable steps. During my internship, I had multiple projects due to the same week. I used time blocking techniques to allocate work hours efficiently, ensuring all tasks were completed on time without sacrificing quality. The next question says, describe a time when you received constructive criticism and how you handled it. So you know the popular saying that nobody is perfect. And sometimes you could be talked down on consciously or unconsciously. So when faced with that kind of situation, how do you handle it? So they want to assess your ability to accept feedback and improve. I know sometimes feedback may not come to your favor or may not come out pleasantly as you would want it. So in your response, you have to showcase a growth mindset and give real example of implementing feedback. And the sample answer on our presentation says, during my internship, my supervisor pointed out that my financial reports lacked clarity. I took the feedback positively and asked for specific suggestions. I then revised my report using more structured formatting and clear explanations. By the end of the internship, my supervisor commended me for the improvements. So you could see from my response that I showcased a growth mindset, and I gave a response on how I implemented that feedback into improving on myself or improving on what was pointed out by my supervisor. When you see questions like, what would you do if your interpretation of work differs from your reviewer? These questions is mostly asked to see if you can handle professional disagreements constructively. Excuse me. So your response should show good communication and adaptability, and also show respect for feedback while also standing your ground professionally. So my sample answer says, if my interpretation of work differs from my reviewer, I would first listen to their perspective and understand their reasoning. If I still believe my approach is valid, I will respectfully explain my viewpoints and seek clarification. If needed, I would adjust my approach based on their feedback to ensure alignment with company's expectations. So you could see from my feedback that I showed respect while also standing on my ground. So our question 11 says, what is your understanding of financial analysis? So your interviewer wants to evaluate your understanding of financial concepts, especially if you're applying for roles in consulting or auditing. So your response should carry your knowledge of financial statements and key financial metrics. Show your ability to analyze and interpret financial data. And your constructive response could be, financial analysis involves examining financial statements to assess an organization's performance, profitability, liquidity, and solvency. Key tools for analysis include ratios such as return on equity, ratio, current ratio, and profit margin. I understand these metrics help businesses make informed decisions regarding investments, cost costing, and future strategies. So, can you explain the difference between profit and cash flow? This question is a test to understand your basic understanding of financial concepts that are vital for consulting roles at PwC. So your response should show a clear understanding of the financial terms and their practical implications. So a sample response you could give to this question could be profit is the difference between revenue and expenses, whereas cash flow refers to the actual movement of cash in and out of business. Profit shows whether a company is making money, but cash flow reflects the company's liquidity and its ability to pay bills and invest in new opportunities. And one key tip I will give you as regards this kind of question is to make your research before your interview day. Since you know you're making an application to a financial consulting firm, you should make a research on, everything related to financials, finances, everything related to auditing, and the terms associated to these roles. What is the capital structure of a company? Or what is the capital structure of our company if asked this question during the interview? So PwC wants to assess your understanding of their company's financial health and its mix of debt and equity financing. So they expect you to showcase your knowledge of the basic elements of financial structure. So be prepared to talk about the impact of different financing methods on a company's stability. And your sample answer could be the capital structure of a company is the proportion of debt and equity used to finance its operations. Companies may use a mix of loans, bonds, and shareholder equity to fund growth. A strong capital structure can help reduce financial risk, whereas a higher level of debt might increase financial instability. So how do you assess the risk of a company or project? This question is asked to assess your knowledge on risk assessments because it's a crucial part of consulting. They want to see if you can identify, analyze potential risk in business decisions. So your answer should show familiarity with risk analysis techniques such as the SWOT, PESTEL, and financial modeling. So you explain how you would use these tools in real-world scenarios. So the technique should involve the SWOT analysis or the PESTEL analysis. And a response could be this: to assess the risk of a company or project, I will start by analyzing the financials, including profitability, debt levels, and cash flow. I would also evaluate external factors like market conditions, regulations, and competitors using PESTEL analysis. Additionally, a SWOT analysis will help identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the business. So if you're confused on what a SWOT analysis means, would have also so if you're confused on what a SWOT analysis means, we have done a video on that. It's also on our channel. You can also check that out to know how to structure or how to give a response using the SWOT analysis. How do you prioritize tasks when managing multiple deadlines? So your interviewer wants to gauge your time management skills, which are vital in consulting and professional services like PwC. So your response should be a structured approach to time management, and also you should show how you have worked or how you can work under pressure and deliver quality results on time. So your sample response would be, when managing multiple deadlines, I prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance. I use a task management tool to keep track of deadlines and break tasks down into smaller, manageable steps. I always allow some buffer time for unexpected challenges and communicate with colleagues if deadlines are tight. So if you see from my response, that I showcase my time management skills and I also showed my ability to work under pressure, and even though I can work under pressure, also delivering a quality result on time. How would you approach solving a problem that you don't have all the information for? So this question is aimed to assess your problem-solving approach, particularly in situations with limited data. So your response should show a logical and resourceful approach to problem solving, highlighting your critical thinking and ability to work with uncertainty. And my sample answer would be, I will start by gathering as much relevant information as possible. If the information is limited, I would analyze available data and consult with team members or experts for additional insights. I would then break down the problem into smaller parts and test different hypotheses until I reach a solution. The next question says, what do you think are the biggest challenges facing the consulting industry today? So, when asked this kind of question, your interviewer wants to see if you are aware of the current trends and challenges in the industry. That's why you should make your research before the interview to know what are the trending challenges allocated to consulting industries. So your answer should demonstrate your understanding of the consulting industry and its challenges. And also it should show that you're proactive about identifying issues and thinking about solutions. As you can see from my response, some of the biggest challenges facing the consulting industry include digital transformation and rapid pace of technological change. Clients increasingly demand innovative, data-driven solutions, and consulting firms must adapt quickly. Additionally, there's a growing pressure for sustainability and ethical business practices in client work. So if you see a question like, how do you approach learning new tools or software? PwC wants to assess your adaptability and willingness to embrace new technologies, which is important in a fast-changing business environment, right? So your answer should highlight your approach to learning, whether through self-study, formal training, or hands-on experience. And to also show that you're proactive about staying up to date with relevant tools. And your answer could go by, I approach learning new tools by first researching their functionality and reading tutorials or watching instructional videos. Once I have a basic understanding, I prefer hands-on practice to learn through application. I'm also open to attending training sections and seeking advice from colleagues who are experienced with the tool. What is your experience with data analysis? So because PwC often works with data, they want to know if you're comfortable analyzing data and deriving insight from it. So your response should be a detailed example of your experience with data analysis tools such as Excel, Power BI, etc., and an understanding of how data can inform business decisions. And the sample answer is, I have experience with data analysis through my coursework and internship. I have worked with Excel to create financial models and dashboards. I've also used Power BI to visualize trends and extract insights from large data sets. I enjoy working with data as it allows me to identify patterns that can derive strategic decisions. So our last question for this section of interview questions and answers says, can you explain what a balance sheet is? So this question is to test your basic understanding of financial reporting, which is essential in consulting and auditing rules. So your response should showcase your understanding of the components of a balance sheet, like assets, the liabilities, and the equity or the equity. Then, your ability to explain how it reflects a company's financial health. And I've created a sample response you could give, like a balance sheet is a financial statement that shows a company's financial position at a given point in time. It consists of three main sections, such as assets, liability, and equity. The balance sheet must balance, meaning that assets must equal liabilities plus equity. It provides a snapshot of what a company owns, and its net worth. So to round up this session, the tips I'll be giving out for you to prepare for the PwC interview is to first research on what PwC is all about, their values, culture, and services. Make sure you use the STAR method for behavioral questions, and make sure your responses are clear, concise, and confident. Be confident in your response and try to practice, because practice makes perfect. And the last but not the least is to showcase your enthusiasm for whatever role you're applying for. And also, one more thing is always ask insightful questions at the end of your interview. Once done with the interview questions or being asked the interview questions, and you're being given room to ask questions, don't just say, I don't have any questions. Make sure you have your question prepared ahead of time, and make sure those questions are insightful. So this wraps up our PwC interview preparation part 1. There's going to be a part 2 of another fresh 20 sample interview questions and answers in our next session. So stay tuned for our videos, but while you're waiting for the part 2 of this question and answer, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and if you have questions, do drop them below in the comment section and we'll give answers to them. And for further research, you could also check up at our blog on our site, check on our blog session on articles we've written as regards PwC. Remember, before going for the interview, do your home research thoroughly, practice your responses, and approach the interview with confidence. Best of luck.